Large part through the arm of Kenny Rogers, and they get another shot at the Royals next on Fox Sports Net. Rusty Greer and the Rangers trying to make it 2 out of 3 against the Kansas City Royals in this series. It is a gorgeous afternoon here in Arlington. The Rangers trying to make sure that they do not get to 32 losses first in this battle between Texas and Kansas City. And welcome to the ballpark. Josh Lewin along with Tom Grieve. Nice to have you with us today. And Shanahan Park, the ace, goes to the mound against the Royals ace today. That's Paul Byrd. And surprisingly, Paul Byrd has 8 wins. Shanahan's only got 1.
Yeah, Paul Byrd may have been the best pitcher in the American League up to this point. Shanahan Park still trying to round into shape after his hamstring injury, but he's had several starts. I think the Rangers are looking forward to seeing the real Shanahan Park. When you look at last year's performance, he's a workhorse. He had an ERA under 4. He's got a ways to go to get that ERA down below 4, but he needs to start today. And he needs the offense to step up for him as well. Maybe Juan Gonzalez keeps cranking it up. He's got 399 career home runs. And let's see if today is the day for the big 400. Rangers and Royals coming up next on Fox Sports Net. Well, would you believe there's 1 out today? That's not warm-ups.
This game's going great. Neifi Perez flies out on the first pitch of the game. Texas Rangers baseball being brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. By Pennzoil, we're driving protection. By Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. By Gatorade, is it in you? And by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. I'm going to start reading that like the guy in the old FedEx commercial. Make sure we get that in. Neifi Perez with a fly ball to right on the first pitch from Shanahan Park today. And now Carlos Fables to be followed by Carlos Beltran. Did I mention it's the Rangers and the Royals?
Now we have.
Third game of the weekend series, and the Rangers heading out on the road after the game tonight. A little chopper up near third. Tough play. Barehanded. Perry wings it across. Well done. Now we can get you to the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. And you've already heard from Neifi Perez and Carlos Fables. So the next Carlos will be Carlos Beltran. Mike Sweeney at first base. Joe Random, Michael Tucker, Luis Alicea, Raul Ibanez, and Brent Maine, the veteran catcher, batting 9th. Shanahan Park 1-2 with an 8.24 earned run average. Of course, he missed 4 weeks on the disabled list as well. And suffice to say, in a game that features ace versus ace, it's time for Shanahan to reassert himself.
Yeah, the Royals are winning the salary battle of the ace versus ace as far as wins per dollar, that's for sure. And Shanahan's given up 11 earned runs in his last 2 starts, 9 2/3 innings. Didn't get through the 4th inning in his last start against Minnesota. Walked 4 hits, 6 runs in 3 1/3. Left-hand hitters have given him a problem this year. Left-hand hitters are hitting .358. Right-hand hitters only .192.
This is a guy who won 15 games last year for the LA Dodgers, 18 the year before. I think most people figured he could win anywhere between 12 and 15 in his first Rangers go-around. The health of the hamstring was the big initial concern. On the outside corner, down goes Carlos Beltran. That's the Shanahan Park that the Rangers acquired from the LA Dodgers. There's no score. Right-hander Paul Byrd has been the surprise of the American League in many ways. He is 8-2 with an ERA of 2.88. Now remember, Kansas City has won only 21 games all year. This guy's got 8 of them. And the Rangers missed Paul Byrd in what was going to be a 4-game series back in Kansas City. They are not so lucky this time. The Southwest Airlines starting lineup. There's Gonzalez batting 5th and doing quite well over the last 7 games. Everett, Lamb, Hasselman, and Jason Romano getting his second major league start. It'll be his first at second base. And Paul Byrd, not a guy that really overwhelms you. He says he's like your uncle at a family reunion wiffle ball game, just throwing junk, scrapping along, getting ground balls, popping guys up. And you see that free and easy motion. And that's kind of a new wrinkle for Paul Byrd, the old-fashioned swinging type windup, which he says is easier on his surgically repaired right shoulder.
And the thing you need to remember about Paul Byrd too is that this doesn't come out of nowhere. In 1999 he was 15-11 with the Phillies, so he has put up some wins in the past. He's 31 years old, and if you look at his statistics this year, they're certainly all-star caliber statistics. 209 is the third best opponent's batting average in the American League. After today, he'll probably be second or third in innings pitched, top 10 in ERA, tied for first in wins. He's got the best control, 1.4 walks per 9 innings. That's first in the league.
Rusty swipes one foul, still 1-2 to him. How good was Kenny Rogers last night? 127 pitches, a complete game 5 hitter. Rogers and Byrd have almost identical ERAs now. Byrd at 2.88, Kenny's at 2.87. But you're right about Paul Byrd, 15-11 in '99, but then he was 2-9 the year after that. 6-7 last year. He is boomerang back to go 8-2. Greer ropes it into right center. That's a base hit. Had the night off last night. Gets back in the lineup and immediately pushes the batting average up to within a whisker of 300. Defensively for the Kansas City Royals, here's Mike Sweeney hanging out at first base. Carlos Fables at second. Joe Randa at third. Neifi Perez at short. Raul Ibanez plays left. Carlos Beltran in center. Michael Tucker hitless for the series in right. Brent Mayne catching. Paul Byrd on the mound. Herbert Perry at the plate. With the runner going, and Mayne can handle it. Rusty Greer in with his first steal of the year. Couple days off, fresh legs, first stolen base.
Well, you look at Byrd, and someone might say, well, what makes him so good? Why is he 8-2 this year?
Yeah, what makes him so good? Why is he 8-2 this year?
Well, he's not a hard thrower. It's not the radar gun. He's a good lesson for the scouts that sit behind home plate and are married to the radar gun, because his top fastball is probably right there, 88 miles an hour. So he doesn't do it with velocity. He throws from a lot of different arm angles, sidearm, overhand. He's got a number of different breaking balls, a number of different change-ups. Tries to never throw the same pitch twice. He's one of those guys that likes to tinker with pitches, tinker with his delivery, and he's got pinpoint control. If he doesn't have good control, in other words, doesn't hit the corners, keep the ball down, he can be in trouble. But when he hits his spots, his assortment of pitches and his variety of arm angles has made him very tough this year. 78 innings, only 60 hits.
Opponent's batting average of 209, the third best in the American League. Facing the hottest Texas hitter right now, Herbert Perry, a 10-game hitting streak. And Herb going 3 for 4 last night, including what was his 6th home run of the year. And the Rangers finally finishing up this long stretch against the AL Central. 27 games in a row against teams from that division. This is the last one. In on the hands and fouled away. I think initially, Tom, you looked at that 27-game streak against the AL Central. You figure what a great time to really take off. There's really no team in that division that scares the heck out of you, but so far 10-16 after the first 26 games.
Yeah, I think the telling story about that trip into the Central Division were the 3 games in Detroit. If there was one series where on the road where you thought you might make some ground up, that was it. And instead of making some ground up, that really started the Rangers' problems, I think.
Yeah,
lost all 3.
And they went on to Kansas City and got swept as well. Of course, it didn't help that 2 of those games got rained out. They had the lead in one of them, the one that Chan-Ho Park was pitching. They were winning 3-1, had a man on batting again in the 4th. Then that game got postponed. Bird hits Perry in the shoulder. And it's going to be 2 on, nobody out. And it gives Alex Rodriguez a chance to be a hitter now.
Bird started off the season by winning his first 4 starts. He's won 4 out of his last 5 starts. And in between, he had the 2 games that he lost. The only 2 games he's really pitched poorly in. They were back-to-back ball games. That pitch got away from him, up and in. Didn't look like a fastball. I'm sure Herbert will be all right. The Rangers off to a good start against one of the American League's best so far.
One of the other things we should note about Bird, too, even though he doesn't give up that many hits, some of the ones he gives up, they go a long way. He's given up 13 home runs. A-Rod showing bunt. And a surprise Joe Randa came charging in from 3rd. This is your American League home run leader. Alex with 17 home runs, 5 just in the last 8 games. Last night took an 0 for 4, though. Couple strikeouts, hit into a double play. And he sprays this one into right field. A base hit. Rusty Greer coming around. Rusty's going to score. Perry goes to 3rd. It's 1-0. And the league lead in RBI as well. 53 of those for Mr. Alex Rodriguez.
Well, the Rangers taking advantage of a couple of bloopers. Rusty Greer off the handle, dumped one into center field. Alex right off the end of the bat, dumps one down the right field line. In between, a hit batter. And the Rangers off to a good start.
Rafael Palmeiro next to come up. Rafi's got 11 home runs. And again, Paul Bird has given up 13. He's allowed more home runs than he's allowed walks. Alex bluffs. Palmeiro rams one into right field. And with Alex on the move, he's got a shot here. 1 run already in. A-Rod stops at 3rd. Palmeiro limping into second base. It is 2-0. With that double, Rafael Palmeiro ties his one-time Chicago teammate Andre Dawson. 503 career doubles.
Well, Bird got that pitch up. First 2 hits were off the handle and off the end. Rafi hit this one pretty good. Looked like something right down the middle of the plate that he ripped down the right field line. Bird in his last start gave up a couple of home runs in the 1st inning. Settled down. Ended up the Royals came back and got him a win in that ball game, but off to a little bit of a shaky start right here, and a good spot for Juan Gonzalez, trying to add to his RBI total on the season. You got the infield back with nobody out, but the only way you can't get an RBI is to strike out or pop up, hit a ground ball back to the pitcher maybe.
Juan has hit safely in 7 straight games, and you're right, the extra base hits are starting to come now. There's another. 2 runs coming in. Gonzo is off to 2nd. It's an early rout for the Rangers. They have placed 4 across in the 1st inning. There's nobody out.
That's kind of what the offense is designed to do for the Rangers. Get the guys on early and let the big guys drive them in. A-Rod with an RBI, Rafi with a double and an RBI, and Juan now with a double and 2 RBIs. Back to back to back. And that's when you look at the Rangers offense, you just look at the names and look at what they've done in the past. This is something you expect to see happen quite often. Just haven't seen it the first couple of months of the season on a regular basis.
No, you're right. I mean, this is the exact design. Get a leadoff man, whether it's Catalanato or Rusty. to fight his way on base, and Rusty did. He saw 6 pitches before he singled. Number 2 man is supposed to be able to move the man along, and technically that happened. There was a stolen base and a hit batsman, and you set it up for the thumpers, and they have thumped. Alex with an RBI, Rafi with an RBI, Juan Gonzalez with 2 runs batted in. Remember, it took him until just past Memorial Day to get 2 RBI for the whole year. Now he just had 2 on that one swing. And after a visit to the mound from the manager, Tony Pena, Bird is back to work against Everett, who clocks one over to first. It is speared by Sweeney. First out of the inning, but it's a productive out. Gonzalez scampering over to third. Well, Paul Bird is a guy that the Rangers knew would be a tough customer. Jamie Quirk, the Rangers bullpen coach, was with him last year. We talked to him about Paul Bird.
He's off to a great start. He pitched well for the Royals last year. He's a fastball kind of sinker guy, curveball slurve. He has a slider and a curve. He kind of mixes them both. And he came up with a screwball. He threw a screwball last year, kind of a takeoff of his changeup, and it's a true screwball, and it really had a lot of help for him against left-handed hitters.
And that's what Mike Lamb is on the watch for here. Mike Lamb does have a home run against Bird in the past. One of his 13 major league home runs. Again, that's how many Bird has given up this year. Lamb, remember, began the year at AAA. Now up here hitting .281. Add to that, base hit center field, 5-0 Texas. Little Sunday stroll in the park here in Arlington today.
This is something that hasn't happened to Bird this year. Even in the games he lost, I don't believe he had an inning like this.
No, his only 2 losses to, of all teams, the Baltimore Orioles, and that was more a lack of run support thing. You mentioned the Angels got to him for 3 quick runs last time out. Now the Rangers hit him up for 5 in the first inning. Bill Hasselman checking down for the signs from the third base coach, Steve Smith. There's a fastball from Bird. Well, the Rangers hunting and pecking yesterday for 3 runs. And now against the Kansas City Ace, they've already got 5 this afternoon. Hasselman just stretching out to poke one to left. And it'll be gathered in by Raul Ibanez. With Jason Romano coming up, we go find Jim Knox.
Thanks, Josh. Got to love this first inning. And Jason Romano right now, as you mentioned, getting his first start of the season at second base. It's been a nice few days for Jason Romano because on Friday night came up with his first big lead hit.
It was a great feeling. That's what I worked all my life for, is to try to, wait for that first day to get that first big league hit, and it finally came true. So just trying to get a few more now.
And with that ball, he gave it to his wife, Ellen, who is bringing it back home to Tampa. Let's see if he gets a few more today, Josh.
That'll be nice. They've got a spot cleared off for it at Jungle Jim's Produce down in Tampa. That's the place that his folks own and operate. 0 for his first 15 major league at bats, but hey, 1 for his last 1. And onward and upward from here. Rangers have batted around in the first inning. That's the first time they've done that in the first inning this year. And again, it's an unlikely guy to do it against. Paul Bird came in 8-2 with the 6th best ERA in the league. Shaves a corner, ball 2 strikes.
If no one else scores in the first inning, his ERA will go from 2.88 to 3.42.
Wow.
With these 5 innings, 5 runs in the first inning. Go up almost a half a point.
And there are
more than half a point.
No mulligans allowed in this game.
No, they're not.
Kenny Rogers will be way ahead of Paul Bird. Again, they came in within a .01 of each other in the league's top 10. Rogers with his second complete game of the year already last night. Little flare into the crowd, still 1-2. Jim Knox mentioned it. There it was, up the middle. Jason Romano getting that first big league base hit. You think that feels pretty good?
He's just glad to get it over with.
He's a hard worker, very nice young guy. Getting a chance with Mike Young, stuck in a bit of a slump.
There's a lot of guys on the disabled list that will be coming back, and there's no guarantee Jason will stay here after they do come back. No guarantee that he won't. But in case he doesn't, I'm sure he wanted to make sure he got that hit before he got sent back to AAA, just so he didn't go back with an offer.
Rips, he didn't get it. Bird is finally out of the inning, but the Rangers bat around, and they have torched the Kansas City A's. How's that for run support, Chan-Ho? 5-0, Rangers. Yes, that's right. The Rangers lead the Royals 5-0. But before we get too cocky, remember the Royals came back from down 5-1 on Friday night. They have been hitting the ball pretty well of late. Chan-Ho Park delivers, and Mike Sweeney, the batter, he's ahead in the count 1-0. Sweeney, Randa Tucker. That's how they'll come out against the Texas right-hander. By the way, later in the game today, we're going to be chatting it up with Grady Fuson, who was in charge of the draft, which is now just a couple of days away. The Rangers have the 10th pick. And we'll see what we can scrape out of the Rangers assistant general manager. Netman, have you caught even one on this homestand?
Yeah, he's had a couple. He's had a couple catch and release.
He's injured? Is that what he's telling us? Bruised knuckle?
Bruised knuckle, but see, that's not his gloved hand. That shouldn't bother him. I've seen him catch a couple of balls in batting practice the last couple of days with the glove, so he's still hanging in there.
Yeah, but a bruised knuckle is nothing. Did you see the person sitting next to him? And Netman's complaining about a knuckle.
I'll make a bet that that little boy next to him has a ball before the game's over.
I bet you're right. Sweeney zaps one in the left. Mike Sweeney, second in the league in hitting, trailing only Ichiro. Let's show you the Rangers defensively. We've not had time to do that yet, so here you go. Brought to you by Dodge. Mike Lamb at first, Jason Romano at second. Herbert Perry plays third. Of course, Alex Rodriguez at short. Then to the outfield, Rusty Greer, Carl Everett, and Juan Gonzalez, who made a nice running catch to start the game. Bill Hasselman, the catcher. Chan-Ho Park, last time against the Royals, he got rained out. And in that game, he had to wiggle out of a bases-loaded jam. I know the stats don't count, but at least a little dress rehearsal. He struck out Sweeney with the bases loaded. And he got this guy, Joe Randa, on a fly ball to end the inning. Joe Randa one hit away from being at the 300 mark. He's got 4 home runs, one of those a game winner to beat the Rangers a week ago. Down the line, close to net man over there.
Brought the glove, had the chance. Might not be his only chance, though. He got a chance to do it again.
Randa chasing, and he is disposed of by Chan-Ho Park. 2 strikeouts now for Chan-Ho.
You said earlier, Chan Ho's been particularly tough this year on right-hand hitters. That's one of the reasons why that breaking ball looked like a pretty good pitch when it was halfway there, and then it ends up out of the strike zone. But Randa, not a strikeout guy, pretty good contact hitter, was fooled by it.
Now, Tom, I know that you know that I know that we don't know what that says.
Not too sure what that says.
But whatever they're saying it with authority. There's an exclamation point at the end. I think that's an exclamation point.
You wouldn't think with all those other letters that the exclamation mark would be the same as ours.
We'll put Jim Knox on the case to go down and translate. Jim's already there.
Way ahead of you.
Intrepid reporter that he is. Of course, if it ends up saying something dirty, we probably just won't go to Jim and ever mention it again. Ball and a strike, the count to Michael Tucker. He is hitless for the series, 0 for 6. All of that was Friday night. In the game that would not end. Well, I missed some fun. You know, you turn it over to Vince for a couple days. You guys have Merle Harmon in the booth, Billy Baldwin. You have a 10-7 game.
Yeah, Merle was great. Merle made it sound like he'd never left the booth.
Tucker drives one towards the alley in left center, but cutting over is Rusty Greer. Rusty Greer, a terrific catch. What is this, turn back the clock day to about 4 years ago?
That's kind of Rusty's signature move out in left field. He surrounded this ball. He kind of comes around the ball. Has a beat on it all the way. And boy, over the years, Ranger fans have seen that a lot. The diving play by Rusty Greer. I think he looks more comfortable making that play than he does catching a routine fly ball.
Boy, it is fun to watch him work. Here's Luis Alicea, former Ranger. Part of some pretty decent teams, matter of fact. Kind of odd that Luis would be their DH, however, hitting 179.
He's actually hit better as a DH than he has as a position player.
There's a bunt from Alicea with 2 out. Park, though, not surprised. He's on it. And the Royals do not score. Thank Rusty Greer in part for that. He made that terrific running, diving catch. It is still 5-0. Texas and asking all the tough, probing questions. Let's go find Jim Knox.
Okay, thank you very much, Josh. Directly behind me, something in Korean, and I tell you what, the head Channel Park fan club member right here, Sonny on hand, explain to me, what did you just hang up here?
Okay, in Korea right now we held in World Cup.
World Cup's going on.
Yes, and on Monday, so we're gonna have game with Poland. So he think he's coach of Korean team right now.
Right.
So we have, no matter what, we have to win. The other left hand side is says like that, and then the yellow sign was Legend of Channel Park is not finished.
Oh, okay. So Channel Park is not finished.
Not finished. Big legend. He gonna make a big legend.
I understand. We're gonna let you go and hang a few more signs around the ballpark. All right, Josh.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. We had a reasonably decent idea. It was something about Chan Ho Park, and yeah, that's right. South Korea and the United States both in the same World Cup bracket. I've got Chan Ho as a lefty, however, on the sign. Would you? Or maybe it's the reverse. I don't know. Perry sweeping one foul, 1 down. Chan Ho Park is the man in South Korea. I mean, even with all the attention because of the World Cup right now, South Korea, one of the host countries, Chan Ho Park is still the big deal. Even more so than Byung-Hyun Kim, who of course has a World Series ring. Chan Ho does not, but Chan Ho was a trailblazer. He was the first to come over. Had those great years with the Dodgers. Perry goes down and booms it to center field, and Beltran is able to grab it. What a play he made. With the ball really rocketing off the bat of Herbert Perry. Kind of scraped it right off his shoe tops as well. Beltran up over the shoulder to stab it. So now the inning left to Alex Rodriguez. We're looking around for signs for Paul Byrd today, but we're not seeing any. There's a great debate raging down in the production truck. Who does Paul Byrd resemble? I say either Niles or Fraser Crane. But now I'm hearing Tom Arnold is the vote down on the truck. A few years ago, when Byrd was a little less full of face, and actually back when Kelsey Grammer was a little less full of face as well, apparently those guys were ringers for each other. His minor league nickname was Fraser Crane. But once we promote the Best Damn Sports Show period, we can really tell. Put a Tom Arnold head next to a Paul Byrd head. Two-2 pitch coming to Alex Rodriguez, and he is down on strike. So Byrd is back to what he's been doing pretty much all year. 1, 2, 3. Go Greer, Perry, and Rodriguez. We're at the end of 2. It's 5-0 Rangers. Chan Ho Park and the Rangers are leading 5-0 at this point. The Rangers finishing off this homestand and heading out to Anaheim after this. Then they come back and it's interleague play. The Braves and the Reds come in for the first time to face the Rangers. Monday, the first 20,000 fans receive a Pudge Rodriguez Johnny Bench commemorative print. Very nicely done, courtesy of Southwest Airlines. Johnny Bench will be in town speaking at the Dr. Pepper Rangers luncheon as well, along with Pudge. 817-273-5100, the number to call for information. Raul Ibanez is the batter. He is down on the count 0-2. We'll show you that print of which we're speaking to in a moment. Ground ball right to first, and Mike Lamb will race to the bag, and he'll win that race. 1 down, 3rd inning. Pudge Rodriguez, who grew up a big fan of Johnny Bench. And of course, those two are now together in terms of Gold Gloves as well.
That's a very nice giveaway item. We've had a couple of them up here in the booth. It's framed. It's a high quality picture. It's one of the better giveaway items I've seen, especially if you like Pudge Rodriguez and Johnny Bench.
Each man with 10 Gold Gloves. That's the most Gold Gloves by a catcher. It's a tie. Now there is news on Pudge Rodriguez today, as he played at Port Charlotte, played in a single-A game today. That ball bumped out of play by Brent Maine. Pudge was 0 for 1, and then the rains came. The Rangers and the Vero Beach Dodgers washed out in the 4th inning. Pudge will play again tomorrow. Is expected to catch, expected to get 4 at-bats. He was 9 for 19 in extended spring training. Now he is facing live A-ball pitching and actually trying to catch as well. And if all goes well, it'll be Pudge against Javi Lopez in the battle of terrific Puerto Rican catchers. That's when the Braves come in next weekend.
And one thing Jerry Narron said he wanted to see from Chan Ho Park when asked is strike one. And that's something Chan Ho Park has been able to do today. His last start, he walked 4 batters. Today he's throwing strikes. He's had a great curveball today. Probably the best curveball that he's had all season. No walks, 3 strikeouts. He's kept the ball down, and this is by far the best Chan Ho has looked in any of the starts.
Yeah, breaking ball for the most part has been sharp. He has not walked anybody. He has not hit anybody in this game. Walks and hit batsmen have been running pretty much neck and neck all year with Chan Ho. Now a little pop-up off the bat of Nafi Perez. Everett running in. He'll put it away. That is 6 straight retired by Chan Ho Park. The Rangers coasting here today on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Gonzo coming up. It's 5-0. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Net being brought to you by Subway. Eat fresh. And by your Texas Dodge dealers. Get somewhere. Grab life by the horns. Bill Hasselman and Chan Ho Park have got this thing right so far today. A 5-0 advantage right now. And Rafael Palmeiro leading things off in the last of the third. Rafi raking one, but foul.
I think one of the signs of a good pitcher, especially a top of the rotation guy, is a guy that can give his team innings even when he doesn't have his best stuff. And Bird in the first inning certainly didn't have his best stuff. The Rangers had 5 hits and 5 runs, and he settled down for a 1-2-3 third inning. And one thing you really can't have from your #1 starter is start a game and out after an inning or 2. Even if he has to give up 5, 6, or 7 runs, the #1 starter needs to go out there and give 6 or 7 innings. I remember several times when Nolan Ryan was well into his 40s and just didn't have it. After a first inning like the one that the Rangers just had against Bird, Nolan would somehow hang in there for his 115 pitches and end up pitching 5 or 6 innings just because he knew that was his job. Long after the outcome of the game was in doubt, it became a matter of saving the bullpen. Nolan took a lot of pride in that. We'll see if Bird can do something like that today. Not that he's mentioned in the same breath with Nolan Ryan, but he's off to a great start this year, and he is the #1 starter for Kansas City.
Two to Palmeiro. And Rafi has just missed on a couple foul balls during this at bat. That first inning double for Rafael, chasing home run. Giving him 503 doubles for his career. Outside 3-2. The 503 doubles tying Rafi with his former Chicago teammate, the Hawk, Andre Dawson, who a lot of people think should be in the Hall of Fame. Rafi hits a towering fly ball down the right field line over into the corner for Tucker, who makes the catch.
Well, it's a second ball Rafi's hit in the last week to the same exact spot right in front of the triangle in right field. Just missed it.
I'll take you back to show you a little bit of the Hawk, Andre Dawson. And in the mid-'80s, I want to say it was 1987, Andre Dawson was an MVP for a last-place team, hitting 49 home runs.
That's the year Dick Moss, his agent, gave Dallas Green, the general manager, a blank contract during the collusion days. Said, you may not want to sign a free agent, but I'm going to make it tough for you. Here's a blank contract. Fill in the numbers, and you got Andre Dawson.
And once that hit the papers, they had no choice.
Unless you want to just admit that there was collusion. Not that there was much secret about it.
No. And that was Rafael Palmeiro's rookie year. He came up from AAA Iowa that summer of 1987.
Dick Moss had been Marvin Miller's right-hand man in the Players Association for a number of years before he went out on his own to be an agent. Not only was he Andre Dawson's agent, he was Nolan Ryan's agent as well.
Bird, who sat down as he delivered that pitch, is ahead of Gonzalez 1-2. That's
well, he said he uses a lot of different deliveries on the mound. He breaks this one out for Juan especially.
That's a new look right there, isn't it?
He was looking for a line drive back through the box. He was getting out of the way quick.
Gonzalez is down on strikes.
You know, we're talking about his velocity around 88 miles an hour. Yet in the last 3 hitters, he's thrown the fastball right by Alex Rodriguez and right by Juan Gonzalez at right around 88 miles an hour. It's just a great example of how much other things are more important than just pure velocity. Deception in your delivery, assortment of pitches, the location of it, all of those things equally as important. Velocity by itself will not get you very far. Bird's just a great example of what you can do if you know how to pitch.
And he has now retired 8 in a row. That after the Rangers had hit him up for 5. He has remembered that he's pretty good. 5-0 Texas. Sweeney coming up. Well, there you see it. The big first inning carrying the Rangers right now. 5-0 the score. And Paul Bird settling into a nice groove after the 5 runs were in. He has actually retired 8 straight. Chan Ho Park has retired 6 straight, and 9 out of 10 that he's faced today. Jams in a strike on Carlos Fables. It'll be Fables, Beltran, and Sweeney in the top of the 4th on this beautiful afternoon. Warm, but not too warm yet. Fables yanking one over to short, deep in the hole. Alex firing across, safe the call. Mike Lamb thought he had him.
Well, that's about the 4th straight throw in the dirt that Mike Lamb has scooped. He's really becoming adept at that. The other night he made a couple of really good ones. The balls that bounce about 3 feet out in front of him that you can't gauge the hop. Alex goes in the hole. He knows he has to get rid of it quickly. Fables runs well. Pretty close at first base. Nice scoop. But Doug Eddings rules safe. Pretty close.
Well, the man with the most experience on this umpiring crew is over at third, John Shulock. He was in the eye of the storm with Lou Piniella in Tampa Bay a few nights ago. He had home plate. Lou Piniella had a memorable Lou Piniella meltdown as he covered up home plate with dirt. And then something very interesting, I thought, Tom. John Shulock, after he had ejected Piniella and after Lou put on the big show, there's all this, I mean, just this huge mound of dirt covering home plate, and Shulock refused to clean it off. He handed his whisk broom to the catcher, Dan Wilson. Said, your manager made that mess, you clean it up.
And Wilson tried to clean it off with his foot, but he couldn't get it all off with the cleats. He was going to leave it that way, and so Shulock handed him the brush, and he brushed it off, handed it back. Lou said after the game, if I were the catcher, that plate would have stayed with dirt on it. I wouldn't have brushed it off. There have been 2 stubborn guys, Shulock behind the plate and Piniella catching. Dirt could have stayed there till the batter wiped it off.
Could have been the only game ever called on account of stubbornness. And John Shulock actually played in the Minnesota Twins minor league system for 5 years. Carlos Beltran, 4 home runs against the Rangers. Time requested. Beltran stepping out. One of the home runs, a game winner. Actually, 2 of the home runs, game winners. One was in the top of an inning. One was in the bottom. Outside corner, nice pitch. We mentioned this Royals team has really started to hit a little bit. They're 8-8 under Tony Pena. Chan-Ho Park serves it into Beltran, who ripped and didn't get it. One down, fourth inning. And a reminder that coming up tonight at 10 o'clock, it is your Southwest Sports Report. 30 minutes of nightly sports news dedicated to teams throughout the Southwest. College World Series continuing. Texas and Baylor having at it. Lakers and Kings having at it, and this one really means something. Wrap up the Rangers game as well. Catch the show that was voted the best sportscast in Texas by the Texas Association. It's a flirt. I'm going to do that again in just a minute. Catch the show that was voted the best sportscast in Texas by the Texas Associated Press Broadcasters Top. The Southwest Sports Report tonight at 10. Only on Fox Sports Net. Toy Boat.
Very good comeback.
Man. Line shot to second base. Romano grabs it. Mike Sweeney now 1 for 2. Let's get you to the Aflac Insurance trivia question. I'm enunciating very carefully now. Aflac! As is the Duck. When was the last time a Ranger pitcher had more than the 2 complete games Kenny Rogers has currently in a season? Well, the sounds of summer falling softly on the ear. The crack of the bat. The snap of the curveball. The sound of the Aflac Duck.
Well, he is just pouring that curveball in, one right after the other. He struck out Beltran twice, once on a changeup, once on a good curveball. His off-speed pitches have been terrific today.
And an economy of pitches, too. We talked about the complete game efforts from Kenny Rogers. What a statement it would be today if Chan-Ho can come back with 1-2. You know, 3 times this franchise has had a man pitch 9 complete games in a row, which is amazing considering this franchise began in 1972. I mean, 80 years ago, that's not unusual, but Fergie Jenkins, Gaylord Perry, Bobby Witt. Witt, during that incredible run he had in 1988, all had 9 complete games in a row.
And when you think about 2 of those pitchers, Bobby Witt is a little bit surprising that he was able to do that because he threw so many pitches. You wouldn't think that Bobby 9 times in a row could go out there and throw less than 130 pitches in 9 innings. But boy, when you think of Gaylord Perry and Fergie Jenkins, when they started it, they finished it more often than not. Fergie had something like 27 complete games in 1973, I guess it was, 74 maybe. Actually 29 complete games. He probably had two complete games the first week of the season. I know he shut out Oakland on the second game of the season.
Well, the Rangers' leader in complete games their very first year was Pete Broberg. He had 3. And then a couple of years later, Jenkins with 29. Randa swings, he didn't get it. 3-2. But that's really a difference in modern day baseball. I mean, other than Curt Schilling, Randy Johnson, maybe Pedro, there just aren't a lot of guys who will ever come close to double digits in complete games.
Well, back then they didn't keep track of pitch count. Chances are if the pitcher was out of there after 115 or 120 pitches, those guys wouldn't have had complete games either, but nobody kept track of it back then. No one even thought about it. And then you go one step further and remember that back then there were 4-man rotations instead of 5. So you got a guy pitching every 3 days, and who knows how many pitches they were throwing. Fergie probably wasn't throwing that many pitches because he didn't walk anybody, got a lot of ground balls. But when you think back of Nolan Ryan early in his career, wouldn't be a bit surprised if he went through a season with California Angels and averaged over 140 pitches a start. There's plenty of games where he threw over 150 or 160 pitches. Nowadays, a manager wouldn't let him do that.
Runner goes, and it's slapped to short. A-Rod, a leap, a throw. He got him! What a play! Alex Rodriguez barely missed getting Fables earlier in the inning. He nails Joe Randa. That was something to look at. It is still 5-0. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Net, being brought to you by Aflac Insurance. Aflac, ask about it at work. And by Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's, improving home improvement. Rangers leading 5-0 as Mike Lamb lines one out of play, and Netman is down there, but he is out netted. Somebody else with a net. Getting underway here in the bottom of the fourth. So close, Net. And as we talk about building things up, the Rangers obviously have an eye towards this coming week with the annual Major League Draft. And that will take place on Tuesday. It is a big day throughout baseball. Grady Fuson is in charge of the drafting procedures for the Rangers. Lamb is down on strikes. Grady joins us this inning. And suffice to say, you're a busy guy right now.
Yeah, this is a good time of the year. I mean, it's when you kind of start into these things, you're kind of dead. You're kind of worn out a little bit. But I think the adrenaline, the emotion of getting close to this thing kind of keeps you going.
Now, the Rangers picking 10th, and I just want to point out that the last time you personally had a number 10 pick, I'm trying to, well, first of all, Hasselman popping one up. Not you personally, but the Oakland A's, the last time they had a number 10 pick. I believe that was a Mr. McGuire, was it? I know that was a little bit before you were there.
McGuire was a little quicker than that. I think we were actually 4th that year. That was 1984.
4, yeah.
Yeah, he would have been higher than that.
I think we were a little higher.
Because we were picking 10th that year, and I believe that was Oda B. McDowell.
Yeah,
10th or 12th.
I think you got it right.
That was the year they had the great Olympic team.
Yeah.
All those kids, Surhoff, Bobby Witt.
Yeah, I guess we were 10. You got it.
I had the stats.
You got our dough. See, there you go. McGuire lasted all the way to 10. We don't want to talk about all those names that went in front of him, do we?
Sean Abner and Pat Pasillo. Bill Hasselman drives it. There it goes. Left field. Home run. McGuire-esque, in fact. Wow. Bill Hasselman absolutely launching one. The Rangers lead it 6-0. You got to come around here more often.
Hey, it's nice to be interviewed when we're winning.
Grady, we've been talking about Paul Byrd, the pitcher for Kansas City, and the season that he's having so far. Billy Hasselman hit a pitch well out of the strike zone up and in. If you were scouting him, he was pitching for a college team right now.
Well, it's funny.
What would you be thinking about?
I remember watching him pitch in college at LSU. Pretty good-looking kid. Obviously, things have changed. You know, he's gone through some arm problems, and obviously the delivery's been tweaked a little bit so he can keep it going, but kind of have an amazing year.
The point being, if you see a kid like this throwing in college, getting people out, throwing 87 or 88 miles an hour, what does that translate to?
Well, you know, I mean, Tom, you've been around it. I know all your years, and sometimes it's always important to understand that some of these kids, once they go through the rigors of the minor leagues and all the years of going out there 7 days a week instead of a couple days a week, for as many times as we think guys are going to get better in things, a lot of guys, they kind of equal themselves out and they kind of settle into an area. And I think Paul Byrd is a great example of a guy that, you know, it took him a little bit to get going, but once he got up there, he's very competitive. Nothing plus, nothing that just wowed you. But has become a very consistent, you know, bottom of the rotation type starter.
What's more fun, Grady, getting that first round guy or finding the 43rd round guy that actually ends up doing something?
Well, I think, you know, you could talk to any of our area scouts or any area scout in all of baseball.
There's Romano dunking one in the right. He's got his second major league hit.
You know, the thrill of an area scout with all the work that they do to dig up these guys. You know, us as scouting directors or cross-checkers, you know, we kind of go around the whole country and see the country's best, but the thrill of an area guy drafting a lower pick that ends up making it through and becoming a big leaguer is probably as good a thrill as you can get in this business.
Well, for those that don't know, Grady was in charge of some Oakland drafts that have kicked out just some incredible talent. The Mulders, the Zitos, the Chavezes. And the Rangers have the 10th pick this coming week. There's a couple of number 10 overall picks in this game today. Carl Everett was a number 10 overall pick in 1990. Michael Tucker was a number 10 overall pick in 1992. He of the Kansas City Royals. We mentioned McGuire was a number 10. Chavez was a number 10. Tim Wallach, Ted Simmons. So you can get some talent at 10.
So 10's a lucky number?
That's what I'm saying.
All right. I'm counting on you then.
Well, we're counting on you to, well, here's Romano zipping down to second base, head first, and he's in there. Jason Romano's first big league steal. We're counting on you not to completely tip your hand, but to give us a little hint. High school, college, what are we thinking here?
Well, you know, we've got a couple high school kids in there that are in the mix. You know, as this thing kind of gets closer, Tom can certainly tell you the information that you acquire kind of brings it to a head as we go on. One of the kids we're interested in, not sure that maybe he makes it there, but we've got a couple of high school kids in the mix, and we've got 3 or 4 college kids in the mix.
Have you ever seen a high school team with 2 pitchers like the team down in Houston has, the lefty and the righty?
That's incredible, isn't it? Yeah, 2 kids that are probably going to go pretty good in this draft. Cashmere and Everett.
How does that team ever lose? Or do they ever lose?
Well, I think they got as far. They didn't get too far in the playoffs, I understand. But I hear those 2 kids are the top on the team, so they can't have much better.
They must not be able to hit. Either that or how do they have to find a catcher in high school that can handle both those kids?
A lot of talk that Brian Bullington, right-hand pitcher out of Ball State, will go number 1. Rusty Greer, a little check swing roller. Randa has to hustle and safe the call at first. Runners at the corners, just 1 out. Rusty Greer 2 for 3 today. But you have Brian Bullington as a kid out of Ball State. Would that make sense? Do you expect him to go at number 1?
You know, at this point, I kind of do. You know, being all honest, it's one of those years where there's not. I don't think all 30 scouting directors or all 30 clubs can go out there and say there's 1 or 2, 3 special guys in this draft. Last year you had Mark Teixeira, obviously the kid that the Rangers took. You know, Mark Pryor, who's already made his major league debut. This draft is not like this. This draft is a little bit more down to earth, you know, and guys have had to grind it a little bit firmer to come up with what they're going to do. So I expect Pittsburgh at this point somewhere between Bullington and the high school shortstop in Virginia, Upton.
I've heard Upton compared to Derek Jeter. Is that a fair comparison at the same age?
Well, you know how us scouts do. We always have to compare somebody to somebody that's a star, and 9 times out of 10 it never works. But
at the same stage.
Yeah, I mean he's a good-looking athlete. He really is. He's a live-bodied kid. He looks like he's got everything he needs to stay at short. You know, the competition level that he plays against is not very strong, so you kind of walk out of there leaving yourself a little short. Yeah. But you know, if you're up there in the top of the draft and you're pretty sure he's going on, you'd certainly be back in there and camped out for a while and get it figured out.
Grady Fuson joining us. He is in charge of the Rangers draft. They've got the first round covered. They've got the number 10 pick in that first round. Then they've got some time off before their next pick after that. Perry takes a strike. We've heard a lot said and written about that, Grady, but how much of a concern is that you don't have a second or third or fourth round pick?
Well, I mean, you know, in the course of developing an organization and acquiring talent and creating depth, it's always a concern. But you know, you pick your choices in this business, what you're trying to do. I mean, when we did these moves, when we walked out of here with Chan Ho.
There goes Perry to right field. And sorry to interrupt you, Grady. That ball's going to die at the warning track, but it's good enough to score another run. A sac fly for Herbert Perry. And this is Paul Bird. The Rangers are doing this too. It's 7-0 in the 4th.
Yeah, when we walked into spring training and we had signed Chan Ho Park and Todd Van Poppel and Powell for the bullpen and Juan Gonzalez. I mean, those are pretty good trade-offs for draft picks, no matter how you want to look at it.
It's a sure thing.
You know, right now the club has not, what's the right word, gelled, so it doesn't look as well as we'd want it to look at this point, but I don't think there's any argument that we'd walk away from those guys for a draft pick. On the other hand, you know, this organization last year before I got here did not have a second and third rounder last year. They had failed to sign their 4th and 9th rounder last year. So actually what we're looking at here 2 years in a row is a big major part of the draft where we've kind of lost some picks. So, you know, that was one reason. You know, the deal that we made with the Oakland A's, acquiring the 4 players for 2, I think has really put some depth into our system. And, you know, all 4 of those kids have done okay. So we just, you know, you move on, and, you know, maybe next year, maybe things are reversed. You know, we have some guys here that are free agents. You know, it's too early to tell whether we're going to sign them or not, but, you know, there's always a chance we get those extra draft picks back.
Well, I know you're happy to be with the Rangers, Grady, so I don't mean this any other way, but how about Oakland? How would you like to be in their position with 7 picks out of, what is it, the first 39 in the draft?
Yeah, at the beginning I said, well, maybe I made this move a little 1 year too early.
You walked away from a gold mine over there.
Well,
I mean, is that a dream of a scouting director?
Yeah, you'd like to have that opportunity every day of your life. That one right there, 7 in the top 30, and let it fly. But I don't know. You know, the way I've looked at the country this year, sometimes
might be a bad year to do
I
it.
sit back and I say to myself, hey, maybe it's a pretty good year not to have all these picks.
If you could have your choice, you've got the 10th pick in the draft, and you lose your next 3 or 4, whatever it is the Rangers are, or you lose the 10th pick in the draft and you have the next 5 picks in the next 5 rounds, which one would you want?
Well, I think I'd always want that number 1. I know that may go against all odds, but you know, I've just always thought that first round's pretty special, and then that's the place you got to make your money.
I agree.
Guys, we'll get back to that for sure in a moment. Paul Byrd is done. The Rangers chase him away. We'll be right back after this. Let's get you back to the Aflac trivia question. The last time a Rangers pitcher had more than 2 complete games in a season was not Fergie Jenkins in '74. It was Rick Helling. In 1999, he had 3, which again these days is actually a pretty high number. Nobody's doing 24 like Fergie used to do. Rangers have chased away Dr. Frazier Crane, a.k.a. Paul Byrd. It is 7-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning. 5 in the 1st and 2 in the 4th. The guys in the truck still insist he looks more like Tom Arnold, so we'll make that our next tell. You make the call. I don't know. It's close. Give Paul Byrd one of those chainsaws. Thanks for the emails too, everybody. I know this isn't exactly, you know, high up on the list of solving the problems in the world, but if we can figure out who the starter looks like, that's a good day. It's 2 on for Rafael Palmeiro, 2 out. Look out, Max Suzuki's first pitch is not a very good one. It is in fact a very wild one. Rusty Greer moves up to 3rd. Alex Rodriguez goes to 2nd on what can kindly be called a wild pitch.
No leather on that one.
Tony Pena made the move, getting his ace out of there after 3 2/3 innings. Now it is Max Suzuki with runners at 2nd and 3rd. Palmeiro batting. Grady Fuson still visiting with us. He's in charge of the upcoming draft. Rangers with the 10th pick on Tuesday afternoon.
How about the Metroplex area, Grady? Are there draft choices around here?
Yeah, it sounds like it's a nice year. In fact, we had a workout here 3 days ago. We had about 7, 8, 9 kids, all local. You know, there's a kid over at Plano, Wes Bankston, that I'm sure a lot of people know about, that's got a chance to be an upside, maybe a power guy.
How about the state of Texas when you compare it around the country? How does it stack up against the other states?
Well, I think it stacks up with anybody. I mean, Tom, you did this for a lot of years. You know that when it comes to this business, you better make sure between California, Texas, and Florida that you know what's going on. So, you know, the state that's actually gone crazy the last couple of years is the state of Georgia.
Huh.
You know, even coming over here from Oakland the last couple of years, it's like you can walk into any high school game in Georgia, find somebody throwing 88 to 92, and
wow.
Any shape you want them right-handed, left-handed, go get them. It's like the whole state's throwing 90.
And the outfielder, I know you like Jeremy Hermida from there too, right, from Marietta?
Yeah, very good-looking special hitter. We've spent a lot of time on him.
Palmeiro sending one down the left field line. That is going to curl away foul.
Pretty special-looking hitter in this draft for a high school kid.
Well, this is a fun time of year. I mean, for those of you that get into the football draft, the basketball draft, I think it's a shame that there's not more in terms of media attention to the baseball draft?
It seems like it's climbing. I mean, there have been some steps to elevate the look at this thing from the media standpoint. And I know, there's more baseball fans all the time that get interested in clubs' minor league systems and development. College baseball has gotten bigger.
Well, you saw the turnout here for the Big 12 tournament for sure.
If you check with Major League Baseball on their website, the number of tags that they're getting, people that go into the website and follow the draft have just, it's like it's quadrupled every year, So the interest is out there, whether they want to make it a spectacle or not. So.
Palmeiro called out on strikes. He's not real pleased about that. Brady, thank you so much. Very best of luck to you. We'll be logging on and tracking it too. Believe it.
All right, we're gonna need it.
Go get him.
Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
Bring home a winner. A former number 10 of the nation pick leading off when we come back. 5-7, and we invite you to come into Subway. Vote for your favorite Rangers for this season's All-Star game. It'll be played in Milwaukee. Subway, eat fresh and vote often. Chanahoe Park starts with a change for Michael Tucker. And Tucker robbed of a hit back in the second inning. Rusty Greer made a terrific diving catch. Seven runs on 8 hits already today. There are 7s all over the place in baseball right now. Seattle and Baltimore tied at 7 in the 8th. Toronto leading Detroit 7-6. Boston has defeated the Yankees 7-1. The Red Sox are truly unbelievable. They are 22-5 on the road. Philadelphia 5-22 on the road by contrast. Phillies home sweet home today, leading 17-3 over Montreal. They're in the 6th inning. Rangers started this game beautifully. They had 5 runs in with only 1 out in the first inning. And Chanahoe Park has been sharp right from the word go. Well, again, we appreciate Grady Fuson coming in and spending some time with us. The Rangers will be in Anaheim the day of the draft, actually the night of the draft, so we'll let you know what happened. Give you the scouting report on whoever it is the Rangers end up taking. Tucker is on with a walk. Are there certain drafts for you, Tom, that stand out that were done on your watch?
Yeah, they're all so exciting when they occur that I don't know if one really stands out. There's some drafts that you look back that were more successful than others, but I remember how excited we were when we drafted Bobby Witt right at the top of that draft. He's coming off a great season with the Olympic team. He was throwing 96 to 98 miles an hour at the University of Oklahoma, and that was very exciting. We were excited when we got Kevin Brown, same kind of a thing from Georgia Tech. We could look at both of those kids at the top of the draft, and it wasn't just Ranger scouts that liked both of those kids. Any team picking in the same spot would have been giving strong consideration to either one of those kids. But then, you look at drafts in other ways, too. We've talked so many times about Kenny Rogers, where he was drafted. And that's exciting to pick a kid like that who's 5'8", 130 pounds, and grows into a major league pitcher, making $6 or $7 million a year, throwing complete game shutouts. And that's pretty exciting, too.
1-1 the count to Alicea.
And then there's drafts that they're exciting when they occur, and as the years go by, you look back on them and wish you'd picked in a different way, too. It's just not an exact science.
No, it's really not.
Not that basketball and football are, but you have much more probability of success with the pick that you take in those two sports because the kids have played longer. Most of them through the college level. There's so many high school kids picked, 17-year-old kids. It's just difficult to project them. You don't know what's going to happen. More probability with a college player because you've just got 3 more years to scout them. But even that, it's just not a guarantee that you're going to be successful no matter how much you like them.
Park in with a 3-1. Come on back, Mr. Alisea, 3-2. What about one that got away, though? I mean, is there one big fish?
I would say probably that's a good way of saying it. One that got away and one big fish. If I look back on it, was probably Frank Thomas. The Rangers picked Monty Ferris that year, and I don't mean to say it because Monty didn't turn out to be a star at the big league level. At the time, he was an All-American at shortstop at Oklahoma State, and everybody loved Monty Ferris, not just the Rangers, but other teams. Frank was a one-dimensional guy. He was a DH at Auburn. But if you look back on it, we had some scouts that really liked Frank Thomas, others that didn't.
Well, but
with hindsight, you can look back and say, yeah, that was one we should have taken.
In fairness, Tag, there were 6 other teams that passed on Frank Thomas. Ben McDonald went 1 that year. Tyler Houston 2. Roger Salkeld, number 3 to Seattle. Thomas was on the board. Mo Vaughn was on the board. Chuck Knobloch, Jeff Bagwell, Tim Salmon. That was the year Tomey was a 13th rounder. And the Rangers were not the only team that passed on those guys.
A lot of teams passed on Roger Clemens. I think that was the year we took Jeff Kunkel. And we loved Jeff Kunkel. That was at the time of that pick. I think people were just as happy with Jeff Kunkel as any player the Rangers ever drafted.
Couple of walks to start the 5th inning. And a quick reminder about the show that's changing the face of sports television, the Best Damn Sports Show, period, with Chris Rose, Tom Arnold, and a bunch of ex-jocks. The only show that gives you sports comedy, commentary, scores, and highlights. So kick back, relax, enjoy the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Weeknights at 8 and 11, only on Fox Sports Net.
To go back on something, Josh, I think I said Monty Ferris. That was a different year. I think it was Donald Harris we took ahead of Frank Thomas. And Monty Ferris we took ahead of Robin Ventura. Robin Ventura was the 3rd baseman on Monty's team at Oklahoma State. But Donald was an outfielder and a football player at Texas Tech. Is that right? You got that?
I got it right here.
Yeah, Donald Harris. We picked 5th. That's right. Donald Harris was the Frank Thomas year. And Donald Harris was a kid with unlimited athletic ability, but he was a football player. And you can look at a lot of kids with that same athletic body, the same speed, the same power, and project them. We thought at the time, you know, Ellis Burks was a good comparison, a guy that became a 5-tool player and a star at the big league level. But as hard as Donald worked and as great an athlete as he was, he never learned how to hit a breaking ball.
There was another outfielder pitcher combo guy, Scott Bryant, that was out of the University of Texas that year that went in the 1st round. A lot of outfielders got lapped up. None of them really did much in the 1st round. I got that right here, Tag. 1989. Rangers with Donald Harris. The Phillies before the Rangers, Jeff Jackson, the high school outfielder. Paul Coleman went to the Cardinals. He's a native Texan. Earl Cunningham to the Cubs. Greg Blosser went to the Red Sox.
Check the 23rd pick.
That ball drilled into center field. Yeah, finally at number 23, a guy named Maurice Vaughn. We now know him as Mo. But yeah, that first part of the 1st round, Ben McDonald, Tyler Houston, Roger Salkeld, Jeff Jackson, Donald Harris, Paul Coleman. Rangers and Angels, don't forget, tomorrow comes your way at 8:30 from Anaheim. It'll be Doug Bell against Ramon Ortiz. And all those pitchers and hitters that we just mentioned were all taken before Frank Thomas in 1989.
You know, it's interesting. You look at those 4 outfielders, Harris, Coleman, Cunningham, and Hosey. And all of those kids had power, and all of those kids had speed. And so that's kind of a scout's dream. 2 tools like that, plus tools, power and speed. You don't find many guys with plus power and plus speed. But in looking for the tools, you can overlook a guy with just one splendid tool, and that's what happened. Frank Thomas has passed by because he couldn't run. Mo Vaughn, 23rd, he's passed by because he couldn't run. But both of those guys became tremendous power hitters at the major league level, and they were slighted because of their lack of speed coming into the draft.
Brent Maine busts up the shutout. He dunks one into center field. It's going to be 1st and 3rd and still 1 out. The number 9 hitter coming through. Michael Tucker scores at 7-1. And one final comment on the 1989 draft. All those 1st round flops that we talked about. There is one guy that is probably the standout player from that entire draft of 1989. And he went with the 1,421st pick. 62nd rounder by the name of Mike Piazza.
Yeah, at the time, Mike Piazza was probably about 6'1" and 170 pounds, and I don't think at the time, and couldn't hit. I don't think at the time anybody ever predicted that Mike Piazza would weigh 240 pounds, be able to hit a ball 475 feet. I can't look at that and say it's a mistake, because that's just one that's impossible to project. The only reason he was drafted was because his dad was a friend of Tommy Lasorda.
Right. Well, 26 teams, there were 26 teams in, not 30. They all passed on him 61 times.
You know, I remember Bobby Valentine coming to Sandy Johnson and I and mentioning Mike Piazza, and Sandy said, "This kid can't play. He's not even an outstanding high school player." So that's more credit to Mike Piazza for the way he's developed and what he's gone through and the work that he's done to get to where he is. But boy, you just can't predict that coming out of high school. In his case, Jose Canseco, 13th or 14th round pick. All of a sudden, he's 75 pounds heavier 5 years later.
And writing books. Navy Perez sending one to left field. Greer again! Rusty Greer! 2 for 2 on the all-out dives today.
That one was better than the first one, because if he doesn't catch this one, it rolls to the wall, and a couple of runs will score instead of one on the sacrifice fly. Carl Everett replacing the divot. And Rusty had to cut across into the gap in left center field, and he lays all the way out to catch this one. Well, that was a great play.
Most of the fans are standing for the effort from Rusty today. He's also 2 for 3 at the plate, has a stolen base today. And 2 memorable vintage Rusty Greer catches in left center. Let the record reflect, it scored a run. It was a sac fly, as it turned out.
It's a crash landing, too. Chan Ho breezed through 4 innings, got ahead of Michael Tucker with 2 strikes, walked him and walked Alicea. And that's just a lack of concentration. You go through 4 innings as easily as he did, and then you walk 2 hitters, one hitting 219, one hitting 179, and both of them have come around to score. Fortunately, the Rangers still have a 5-run lead, but it's something that Jerry Narron would like to eliminate, that kind of inconsistency in Chan Ho's control.
0-1 to Fables, down and away. And before we get completely off the draft subject too, you mentioned Bobby Valentine. He was probably part of the best overall all-around draft ever. Dodgers in 1968. Bobby V went with their first-round pick. That ball hammered by Fables. Can Rusty do it again? He's running. He won't get this one. It's going to go. It's a home run. Carlos Fables, just his 2nd of the year, and all of a sudden, the Royals back to within 7-4.
That's what you get when you walk the 2 first hitters with a 7-0 lead. That's something a #1 starter doesn't do.
But it has happened here in the 5th, and 4 runs have come across the plate. Now Chan Ho's got to face Carlos Beltran.
You through 4 innings, you couldn't pitch better than Chan Ho pitched. There's a hanging curveball. Through 4 innings, he had 4 strikeouts, and almost every curveball he threw broke sharply and stayed down. I don't know if he's run out of gas here in the 5th inning or what the story is, but he was a different pitcher this inning than he was the first 4 innings. And if you look at one of the outs, was a bullet to the gap. Rusty doesn't dive and catch that ball. There's another run on the board.
Well, the pitch count up to 77 with that last ground out. Carlos Fables jacks a home run. He gets the Royals back to within 7-4. Royals strike back with 4 in the 5th. A 7-4 game. Juan Gonzalez coming up. Let's go talk to Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, Josh. Just received an email. They wanted us to check out a big-time Ranger fan next to Netman. Cole Touchstone is his name. He's going to have open heart surgery in a couple weeks, but out here checking out the Rangers. Enjoying the game, Cole?
Yes.
And your favorite player, that would be?
A-Rod.
A-Rod. Now, you know, down here on the foul line, have you received any balls today?
No, sir.
Would you like one?
Yes.
Okay, we will call on Netman. Netman or Netboy, you got an extra foul ball we could spare? There we go. Here you go, Cole. Have a foul ball. Enjoy the rest of the game, big guy.
Okay.
Good luck in a couple weeks.
Okay.
All right, hang tough, big man. Thank you, Jim. That's a good-looking kid. I'm glad he got a ball. Take that with him to the hospital. 7 years old, we're told. Great Ranger fan. Thank you for coming, Cole. Alex Rodriguez driving in a run for him today. Juan Gonzalez has driven in a pair. Rafael Palmeiro. Mike Lamb's got an RBI. Bill Hasselman with a home run for an RBI. And I tell you, Herbert Perry, even though he doesn't have a hit today, had a great at bat before he was hit by a pitch in the first. Hit one very deep to center field for an out in the second, then hit a long sac fly in the fourth. Watch those kneecaps. 2-2 to Juan Gonzalez. By the way, congratulations to former Ranger Chris Magruder. Hit another home run for Cleveland today. The Indians just swept the White Sox. Final today was 4-3. Sox have lost 7 straight. Gonzalez down on strikes. I know the Rangers are about done with their tour through the AL Central for a while. It's the last of their 27 games straight in the Central, but all of a sudden, those Cleveland Indians are right back in the thick of it. They're 28-28. Chicago's 28-28. Both looking up at Minnesota. Everett takes a strike. Suzuki skips one up there. Of course, in the West, as we check the Jack-in-the-Box standings, it's the Seattle Mariners still out in front. The Oakland A's trying to recover. They beat the Devil Rays today to pull back to within a game of 500. Seattle getting all it can handle from the Baltimore Orioles in their weekend series.
The Orioles had a big lead in that game. Seattle's come back and bombed them late in the game, though.
Everett leaning away from one. Yeah, the Mariners have just jumped up with 4 to lead 11-7 at Camden Yards. Mike Cameron, who was off to that great start, is trying to get out of a pretty massive slump right now for Seattle. Everett, a big rip. He didn't get it. And the count 3-2. Brett Boone has a home run in that game for the Mariners today. Now the walk for Carl Everett. Everybody okay up here in the booth?
Gust of wind just came through.
I would say so. That's the first walk allowed by Max Suzuki. The Rangers have not put a ball in play against him yet. Couple strikeouts and a walk. Yeah, Cameron's batting average is down to .228 for Seattle. And the Angels, the team that the Rangers are off to play starting tomorrow. I know things have evened out a little bit for them. They had won 21 out of 24 at one point, but the Angels just 2 back in the loss column. Mike Lamb, the batter. A couple of notes we should pass along from the minor leagues, too. At Oklahoma yesterday, actually this game in Nashville, Tennessee, but the Red Hawks got a one-hitter from Doug Davis. No walks, 7 strikeouts. 4-0 win. Doug Davis retired 21 of 22 batters that he faced. Ed Sprague now has a 14-game hitting streak. Hank Blaylock now has a 15-game hitting streak. He's batting .426. He's actually hit safely in 17 of his 18 games with Oklahoma. tell you, that's worked out great both ways. Blaylock goes down, gets his confidence back. He's hit in 17 of 18. And the guy who's taken over for him up here, Herbert Perry, has hit safely in 16 out of 18. Hey, go back. 2-1 is rolled. That is tipped into left field, a base hit. Everett takes a turn. He's going to third. The throw is headed that way, cut off. Runners at the corners. And a 2-hit day for Mike Lamb.
That was a well-placed hit by Mike. Kicked off the glove of Randa, and that allowed the runner to go to third base with one out. You see the infield way over. Randa's almost at shortstop. He knocks it past Perez into left field.
And it gives Bill Hasselman a chance to bring home some more. Hasselman with a home run last time up. Suzuki missing. It's 1-0 with runners at the corners, one out. Hasselman absolutely buried one off of Paul Bird. That's the 14th home run that Bird has allowed this year. It was Bill's third of the year. Tony Pena out to the mound. Boy, he's been busy heading out to talk to Suzuki, who's gone 2-0. One other quick note from the minors yesterday, by the way, Tom. Did you see the game that Tulsa was involved in?
Didn't notice, no.
They lost at El Paso, one of these old-fashioned Texas League games, 18-17.
Oh, boy.
They had leads of 8-0, 15-10, and 17-14 in that game. Then gave up 4 in the bottom of the 9th. So the Diablos 18, the Drillers 17. It's another reason why we're not too cocky after the Rangers bolted out 7-0 today. See the Double-A team lose an 8-0 lead yesterday. Smacked over to third. There's Randa to second for one. Turned on to first. It's a double play, and the Rangers do not add to the lead. End of 5, though, here at the ballpark today. The Rangers are in command. It's 7-4. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Net being brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Very pretty afternoon here in Arlington. Blue skies. Not a single cloud to be seen. And the Rangers with that quick strike offense today. They had a 7-0 lead, but the Royals now have carved it down to 7-4. Mike Sweeney, Joe Randa, Michael Tucker against Chanahoe Park here in the 6th. Chanahoe needs to show, I would suppose here, Tom, that last inning was simply an aberration. He needs to jump back out, cut through this tough part of the order.
Yeah, you hate to see a 7-0 game with your ace on the mound turn into a ball game, but that's exactly what happened in the 5th inning.
Mike Sweeney takes a strike. He's a guy that in his first 4 years was getting just blasted at the plate by a lot of pitches. Herlo's improvement note of the game. He's learned how to get out of the way. And that's a good idea. Chanahoe Park led the major leagues in hit batsmen a year ago. Mike Sweeney always a tough out. Trailing only Ichiro in the league batting race right now. Rangers do not currently have anyone in the top 10. Sweeney out in front. And that right there is a nice statement from Chanahoe Park, 1 away. Tom, I want to mention quickly, the Rangers have come out with something pretty neat right in time for Father's Day. They're available at the Majestic Grand Slam shop at the ballpark in any denomination. Let me show you what they look like. They're called the Rangers gift card. How's that? How's it? Oop, tilt it. Yeah. Joe Randa swinging. Hits it high and hits it deep to left field. Rusty turns. It's gone.
I can't believe that ball went out of the ballpark. I didn't think he hit it that well.
It's flying that way right now, huh? Joe Randa with his 5th home run of the year. 2 of them have come against the Rangers, and all of a sudden, it is 7-5. The ball has just come back on the field.
He must have hit that better than it looked. That's a long ways out there in left center field. But he hit it high. It looked like the ball carried really well. Let's take another look. It looked like he got underneath it. It was a pretty good pitch to hit, hanging curveball, but it looked like he got underneath it too much. He got underneath it just enough to hit it into the front row.
Just kept on carrying. So it is a 7-5 game. Randa's always had more of a double stroke rather than a home run stroke, but he had enough there.
Chanahoe made a mistake with the curveball, as he did the Fabulous last inning. Both home runs been on curveballs. At the same time, most of the outs and a lot of the great pitches he's made in the ballgame have been with his breaking ball. He's had a good changeup and for the most part a good curveball, even though he started to leave a couple of them up lately.
Now Tucker sends one towards the pole, and that is going to bend away foul. Let me real quick just get back to the Rangers gift card too that I wanted to mention with Father's Day coming up. At the Majestic Grand Slam shop here at the ballpark is where you can pick them up. You get them in denominations of $10 increments, and it works kind of like cash here at the ballpark. You can show up at a concession stand, say here you go. You can go to the gift shop, same story. So
good deal.
Anything from cotton candy to an A-Rod jersey, I would think. That's presented by Payment Tech. And for more information, 817-273-5001, the number to call. So if you're stuck on a gift idea for Dad, you can throw him one of these and let Dad pick out what he wants here at the ballpark. Look out. Michael Tucker is hit by the pitch. And again, Chanahoe Park last year led the major leagues in hit batsmen. He is up there this year, and remember, he missed a month.
That's going to be it for Chanahoe. It looked like he just plain ran out of gas.
Yeah, Randy Flores has been up in the bullpen and ready to go. And Chanahoe, staked to a 7-0 lead, is going to leave with the tying man coming up. Very disheartening. He looked great through 4, but you called it, Tom. Those 2 leadoff walks with a freshly minted 7-0 lead in the 5th. And now a quick goodbye from Chanahoe. So let's hope Randy Flores can get it done. 7-5 ball game. Back in just a moment. Well, Kenny Rogers in the foreground, and he absolutely got it done yesterday. 127 pitch complete game effort. But behind him in the background, Chanahoe Park did not get it done today. He was given a 7-0 lead to work with. 5 of those runs have been given back, and now the tying man comes to the plate. Randy Flores is out there on the mound.
It was just 2 different ball games for Chanahoe today. Randy Flores will come in and try to get out of the 6th inning. Right now it's a 7-5 ball game with a man on first base.
And Randy could not stop the bleeding in the 7th inning Friday night. That's the inning in which Kansas City scored 6 times. Went on to win the game in 11 innings, 10-7.
Well, it's hard to imagine that in 1 inning it could change so quickly for Chanahoe. After 4 innings, he hadn't walked a batter, 4 strikeouts. Sweeney had the only hit, a single, and a couple of walks, an RBI hit, a home run. Before you know it, 4 runs were in. Home run and a hit batter here in the 6th inning. It just looked like he must have run out of gas, just got tired, started leaving his curveball up. Didn't have the same command that he had through 4 innings. 4 innings were great. Probably the best 4 innings he's had all year.
Well, 87 pitches, the final tote board tally for Chanahoe Park. And this is a guy, as we talked about, who's been a gamer throughout his career. 80 to 87 pitches. Should not be running out of gas time.
No, he's in great shape. You wouldn't think so.
Luis Alicea, switch hitter, batting right against the lefty Flores. Got a lefty coming up next in Raul Ibanez. The Rangers do have action in the bullpen in case of a pinch hitter. And the righties that come up after that, Francisco Cordero's in the pen. He's the man that gave up the slam to Beltran on Friday. Back to Randy Flores. A-Rod with a pick and the toss. Got him! Double play. That'll help. Nicely turned by Alex Rodriguez, and the game stays. Rangers 7, Royals 5. Time for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic, where breakfast is served. Today's jackpot worth $500 plus 2 tickets to a Rangers game and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Judy Cox from Granbury, good luck. If a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Judy will win $25,000. That's courtesy of our friends at Sonic, and you can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. We hope that you do, and we hope that you win. It's not our money. Jason Romano leads off in the bottom of the 6th as the Rangers look to take control of this game back. A 7-0 lead has been carved down to 7-5. Jason Romano with his second big league hit in this game. Also his first major league stolen base. Jason playing second base today, and the Rangers have a similar prospect now playing second base down at AAA. You might not have heard of him yet. Guy's name is Jeff Pickler, Pickler. One-time Brewers 11th round pick. Was kind of stagnating in their system. He was a free agent, but most of his time in the Brewers minor league system he was playing in Stockton, California. That just happens to be the hometown of the man we were talking with a little while ago, Grady Fuson. Got a chance to see him play at that ballpark quite a bit. Romano rips one, but it's grabbed it short by Perez. Anyway, Jeff Pickler became available, and Grady Fuson, who's now here with the Rangers, said, you know what, I like this guy. I'm going to grab him, put him at AAA. Jeff Pickler is hitting .306, Tom. He's got 32 walks in 35 games. And Grady Fuson says he plays a lot like Jason Romano, or maybe like a Craig Counsell.
How old is he?
I believe he is 27. I'm going to look it up.
Sounds pretty good.
Just kind of an out-of-nowhere guy that is really doing some nice things at AAA. Rusty Greer has made a couple of spectacular catches in left field. Also has a couple of hits in this game. Pickler is 26. Rangers looking for their second win against Kansas City. Greer nails it, but again, there's Perez with that little swipe catch.
A couple of ropes. See if he's got him popping up here in the 6th inning.
Herbert Perry up next. And for Gary Sheffield, the Hall of Fame talent has been overshadowed by controversy. Off the field, he reveled in the attention stardom brought, but his reckless lifestyle endangered himself and his family. Beyond the Glory takes you inside the hidden world of sports' biggest stars. Sheffield, Beyond the Glory, presented by Acura tonight at 8 on Fox Sports Net. Herbert Perry with a 10-game hitting streak on the line, officially 0 for 1. He's been hit by a pitch. He's got a sac fly. rushing that one, but it's picked at third by Randa. Lobs it across to end the inning. Down they go in order. Rangers lead that was once 7-0 is 7-5 at the end of 6. Well, thank goodness for the 5-run first. This was supposed to be ace versus ace today. Chanahoe Park against Paul Bird. One of those crisp 2-1 games that you hear so much about. No, it has been a 7-5 game. Randy Flores is now the pitcher. Here's your Texas Lottery game stat. A little bit better for Randy Flores. He got the double play ball. Hit back to him by Luis Alicea. Your Texas Lottery numbers. Now it's Ibanez, Maine, and Perez. Ibanez, a former Mariner. His team was a winner today, 11-8, that final at Baltimore. Fouling one right back this way. Anaheim leading Minnesota 5-4. Again, the Angels the next opponent for the Rangers, a 4-game series in Anaheim. The Rangers will not face Aaron Seeley, a one-time mate. But they will get Ramon Ortiz, and that's not necessarily good news. He is
Ranger killer.
Definitely had the Rangers number. One ball, 2 strikes to Ibanez. Of course, when the Rangers get back to town, it's a very quick road trip. They're only gone for 4 games. But when they come back, get ready to welcome Chipper Jones and the Atlanta Braves interleague play on Friday, June 7th. Another first-place team from the National League follows Ken Griffey Jr. and the Cincinnati Reds. Alex Rodriguez and Griffey remain good friends. They will go head-to-head the 10th, 11th, and 12th. With Johnny Bench in attendance for the game June 10th. Ibanez scrapes one back near Flores. He spins, gets his man. One down, we go to Jim Knox.
Okay, thanks, Josh. I thought we'd fill the Ranger fans in on the great tape debate that took place before the game we witnessed. This in the Rangers locker room, controversy. You see, Gabe Kapler thought from Michael Young's locker to the training room 100 yards. Michael Young said, no way, how about 100 feet? So inch by inch, foot by foot, they get out the tape measure, and at the very end, the calculation read 192 feet. Michael Young declared the winner. And we'll have post-game reaction coming up a little bit later on, Josh.
Yes, we will. Thank you, Jim. This really was a heated debate before the game. Gabe Kapler said from Michael Young's locker to the trainer's room it was 100 yards, and he was met with guffaws. No way. You're nuts. And Mike Young was asked, all right, smart guy, how many feet or yards do you think? He said, I think it's 100 feet, not 100 yards.
It was almost exactly in the middle.
Well, and that too was controversial. I mean, 200 feet would have been the midpoint. 100 feet, 300 feet, if I'm doing the math correctly. That pitch down and outside. So they were very careful with the measuring. And then Gabe tried to say that he had actually said not to the door of the trainer's room, but to where assistant trainer Ray Ramirez usually sits, which would have put it at 200. That ball launched to right field. Brent Maine will not leave the yard, however. Let's go get some post-game reaction from the combatants in Tapegate.
I was right. I was so right. Look, he's got the measuring tape right there. I won by 8 feet.
The original bet was to Ray Ramirez. I had a problem with my eye. I said, he said, how far is it to Ray Ramirez? Oh my God. Ray Ramirez was in the middle of the training room.
Yeah, not to mention, Jim. Ray Ramirez was standing right at the door. I said from my locker to the training room. Door is training room. I win. Cap loses.
It's as simple as that. World peace to follow. They have at least figured out.
Sound like a couple of teenagers arguing, don't they?
or a married couple.
Mikey Young said to me the other day, I must be the most gullible guy in the team. They keep getting me on every joke in the world. And It's nice to see Mike finally win one.
He won it by 8 feet. Well, actually, I think the funniest thing was all the veteran players coming by, being filled on what was going on, and then just sadly shaking their heads and walking away. Like, you got to be kidding me. They're talking about this.
They wouldn't even guess which one was right?
Oh, no, they did guess. I mean, that's part of the sporting fun.
How everybody betted.
I think the rule of thumb is whatever Kapler says, bet against it. Ground ball over to third.
It would have worked.
Would have worked by 8 feet. Nicely done, Randy Flores. A 1-2-3 7th inning. We are at the stretch, and the lead stays 7-5 for the Rangers. Alex Rodriguez coming up. Well, the Rangers still lead at 7-5. They're looking to build that lead in the bottom of inning 7 here at the ballpark today. Pennzoil protection play, actually several of them. The defense has spoken. A little bare hand activity from Herbert Perry. Rusty Greer racing. Rusty would do a little bit more of that later on. Alex Rodriguez deep in the hole. And how about one more? Rusty Greer, maybe the play of the day. Pennzoil, we're driving protection. Rangers 7, Royals 5. Josh Lewin, Tom Grieve with you on a sunny Sunday afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you'll be coming out to see the Braves when they're in next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mike Young, Gabe Kapler still discussing who was right on the tape game before the game. Got a new pitcher in there for Kansas City. This is kind of nice. Brad Voiles of the Royals. If they could get Chris Hoyles and old catcher Hank Voiles, that would be perfect.
Voiles pitched the other day against the Rangers and had great stuff. Had a fastball around 91. Excellent changeup. He pitched an inning and 2/3 in that game. Had a walk and a strikeout. Been a closer in the minor leagues. Working on the command of his fastball. And he's got an excellent changeup.
25-year-old's going to go after Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod singled in a run in the first. One year Johnny Padres was the pitching coach for the Padres. That worked out pretty well too.
Speaking of changeups, he had one of the best. When he shut out the Yankees in the World Series. I think it was 2-0.
Who are some of the better changeup artists that you faced?
Oh boy, let's see. Andy Messersmith had a great changeup. I didn't face him that much.
You never faced Stu Miller, did you?
Nope. Never had
before your time, right?
Never had a chance to face Stu Miller. I don't think we had a good changeup. Mike Cuellar had a great screwball that he used as a changeup. John Hiller, bullpen closer for the Tigers, had an excellent changeup.
They say that these days Pedro Martinez has one of the best, but of course he's also got such a terrific fastball, got such a terrific breaking pitch. I mean, it almost gets lost in the shuffle.
I find it hard to imagine. This may sound crazy.
Alex bangs one deep right center field. It is a line drive home run for Alex.
What a rope.
One Mississippi, and that was it. Man, 18 home runs for Alex Rodriguez. That one with 0 hang time. Like it was out of a cannon.
I saw the ball going to right field and thought it was going to be in the gap, and then I looked at Tucker in right field, and he was just standing there watching it. His head snapped as it went by him into the Ranger bullpen. Boy, that got out of here in a hurry. What a shot.
This thing had a vapor trail behind him.
Boyles tried the high fastball up and away. Didn't look like a pitch that would translate into a home run ball, but boy, Alex got on top of it and just hit a bullet into right center field.
6 home runs in his last 9 games now.
He knew he hit it. He was probably just wondering if it was going to be high enough to clear the fence.
Otherwise, it would have gone through it.
And we're talking about Pedro Martinez. I really believe that Pedro Martinez has the best stuff of any pitcher that I've ever seen. You take Pedro on a good day. His fastball is 96 miles an hour. As you say, most people think he's got the best changeup in the game. He's got an excellent curveball. He's worked in a cut fastball. And the stuff he threw in the All-Star game a few years back when he struck out the first 4 or 5 hitters might have been the best stuff ever thrown in a big league game. I don't know how you could throw any better. I don't care who you talk about. Sandy Koufax, Grover Cleveland Alexander. Now, I never did see him.
That was before your time.
I can't imagine anybody has better stuff than Pedro Martinez. There's guys that throw harder, guys that have thrown more no-hitters, but just as far as a combination of pure stuff, I can't imagine it can be much better than that.
2-2 the count to Palmeiro. And just getting back to Alex Rodriguez for a moment, other than Sammy Sosa, no one's got more home runs now in baseball. There are a couple of players in the state of Texas with 18 now, A-Rod and Lance Berkman. Miranda makes the catch with the sunglasses glistening over there. Berkman, A-Rod, and a man named Barry Bonds each have 18. Sosa's got 19. Folks, whether you entertain clients or host company picnics, the ballpark has great hospitality options. Choose from your own luxury suite for a day for 10 to 200 people, or reserve a suite multi-game package for significant discounts. 817-273-5100 extension 2. That does look like a pretty good time. Again, the National League portion of the schedule is at hand when the Rangers come in off this next road trip. Friday, the Atlanta Braves. They're in Saturday and Sunday as well. Then it's 3 with the Cincinnati Reds. We get to see Griffey. 1-1 to Juan Gonzalez. You were talking about Pedro Martinez on Monday. Pedro's Heat will be matched up with the knuckleball of Steve Sparks in Detroit.
Nice combination.
Bullets and butterflies. One-two is way outside, and Boyles has to be careful. If he pitches Gonzalez to the outside part of the plate, there is all kinds of room to the right side of the infield for Juan. Look at the shift. One lonely fielder over there. That's the first baseman, Sweeney. Gonzo rips one to center field and makes the catch. Check the Kansas City bullpen. Corey Bailey 0-4 against everyone else, but 3-0 against the Rangers. Brian Schaus is up as well. Alex would like to keep on hitting. Carl Everett walked in the 5th, otherwise a couple of ground balls today. Batting average dipping back down towards 200, 201. Pitchers of record in this game, the two aces, Paul Bird and Chanahoe Park. Neither man with his ace material today, though. Off the end of the bat to short. And the inning ends, but not before Alex Rodriguez sent a line drive home run screaming on out of here. That adds to the lead at the end of 7, 8-5. To 5 Texas as we go to the 8th inning here today. Crowd of better than 26,000 on hand. You're invited to visit the Legends of the Game Baseball Museum here at the ballpark. See more than 100 items from the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Stop by while you're at a Rangers game. Get a discount on your admission. The museum is open year-round. Call 817-273-5600. Absolutely a worthwhile trip. That's for Director Dave. A quick and easy way to get on the air is to make a sign with Dave's name on it. Anthony Telford begins the 8th inning. He is the 3rd Ranger pitcher of the day. He's got a tough act to follow in Randy Flores.
Yeah, Randy came in when the Rangers needed someone to come in and stop the bleeding quickly after the hit batter. He came in and got the easy double play. Got LSA to bounce back to the mound. And Telford has pitched very well for the Rangers. And Jerry Narin looks out to the bullpen and probably feels as comfortable with Telford right now as anybody. Came in the other day with the bases loaded and got out of that jam. Has stranded all 5 of the inherited runners he's faced. First batter's 0 for 3. He's come in and done the job, pitching like he did with the Montreal Expos for a number of years.
0-2 pitch is straight towards right center. That's Romano now in center. He dives and he can't get it. Now he's got to go down and pick it up. Fable steaming around second, trying for third. He's going to make it standing up with a triple. Rangers had made a defensive switch, getting Young into the game at second, Romano in center. And Jason was tested right away. The ball zipping by him. And the leadoff man is standing at third. Fable's a double away from the cycle today.
Fabulous had been struggling against Ranger pitching, but not the last 3 times up. Single homer, triple.
Now Carlos Beltran. Fable's, remember, with a 2-run homer in the 5th, and now that triple. Opposite field, Beltran socks it. Greer looks at it, and it is a foul ball. Beltran hadn't moved an inch. Good thing for him it was a foul ball.
It was a lot closer than he thought it was going to be, because right at the end he kept his bat in his hand but took a few steps toward first base. I think it surprised him that it was that close.
Telford's 1-1. Off speed missing. Beltran, a guy who's pegged 4 home runs against the Rangers in 6 games. He led the charge in the 11th inning against Hideki Irabu on Friday night. Three home runs over a stretch of 5 pitches to win the game for the Royals. A walk. That means the tying man is coming up.
We're in the wrong guy, too. Wrong 2 guys coming up, Sweeney and Randa, and doing a number on the Rangers.
You absolutely have to be careful with Mike Sweeney and how you handle him. But you're right, the way that Randa's been hitting, that is quite a backup. He's done as much damage as Sweeney has against the Rangers.
Ranger owner Tom Hicks sitting in his customary seat next to the Ranger dugout. Saw a 7-0 lead turn into a 7-5 lead. Now it's 8-5, but 2 men on and nobody out.
There's a strike on the outside edge.
Sweeney sure has come into his own the last 3 years. Prior to that, he was 22, 23, 24 years old. He was catching. He was up and down between the big leagues and the minor leagues. Didn't look like he was going to break into the lineup as a regular catcher. And once he moved out of the catching position and they gave him a chance to play every day, it's been off to the races the last 3 years.
A 2000 season, he almost had the league RBI title. He missed by 1. Edgar Martinez beat him 145 to 144. He had the 144 RBI on only 29 home runs. Only other player to drive in that many without hitting 30 home runs. Tommy Davis did it for the 62 Dodgers.
Well, if you knock in 144, you feel like you ought to be first, don't you?
No kidding.
That was the year they had Jermaine Dye, they had Johnny Damon.
Well, that's like Willie Mays. Willie Mays was 7th all-time in runs batted in. Never won a single season RBI title. The year that he knocked in 141, Tommy Davis had 153.
That little guy just made a great catch. All the adult hands went up in the air. That big glove he's got snared it. Not even smiling. Glove's bigger than he is, but he needed it to catch that ball. What a nice play.
0-2. Sweeney bangs it into the crowd. Rangers infield a double play depth. They would gladly give up a run here to get 2 outs in the 8th inning. Mike Sweeney is grounded into 3 double plays. Actually runs okay for a big guy. Sweeney is the tying man.
Ooh, boy, didn't miss by much.
He sure didn't. Anthony trying to just sneak one in. 67 miles an hour.
Curveball goes up and straight down and probably stays just a little bit inside, but almost came down and caught that inside corner.
Telford trying to finish him off. 1-2.
Sweeney, one of those power hitters who walks more than he strikes out. 22 walks, 19 strikeouts. Strikes out about once every 10 times up. It's pretty good for a power hitter.
Telford to the plate. And a foul ball. Well, the fastballs are being foul tipped. There was a good looking curveball. It was not called a strike, so we stayed 2-2. This game was won 7-0 in favor of Texas. Chanahoe Park walked the first too many faced in the 5th, and that was really a key. The number 9 hitter. We've talked on and on about what number 9 hitters have done against the Rangers. Brent Maine knocked in a run. And the inning went on from there. In the alley, right center. Well hit. Jason Romano racing back. Makes the catch at the track. A run does come in from 3rd. Scampering back to 1st is Beltran. And Mike Sweeney gave it a ride, but it did not get out.
The Rangers got a break right there. It looked like Sweeney hit that hard enough to get it into the gap. Romano was playing pretty deep. The ball didn't seem to carry like some of the balls we've seen hit today. And Sweeney got a pitch up. Might have hit it just a little bit toward the end of the bat. It was a good pitch on the outside corner. Sweeney drove it, but Romano got back and made the play.
The Rangers now can get out of the inning if they get Randa to hit the ball hard on the ground somewhere. Hard on the ground. Here's one. On to 1st. Wide. Mike Lamb had to come off to get it. So the inning continues for Kansas City. Randa reaching on a fielder's choice.
Big hop by Michael to Michael. Alex's throw just sails on him a little bit to the right. Didn't look like Sweeney or the runner, who was it, Beltran, caused any problems. Beltran slid into the bag. Alex was off to the right field side of the bag. It just looked like the ball got away from him a little bit.
Now Telford to Tucker. Tucker, who was sitting on the fastball, he did not get that fastball.
Big swing, slow curve.
He could have reloaded, swung at this again. Now the fastball, and it's 1-1. Kansas City has hit a pair of home runs today, Randa and Fables. And for the Rangers, Bill Hasselman, number 3. Alex Rodriguez, number 18. One off the major league lead. Tucker rams one into left center. Rusty Greer, Jason Romano. Rusty's got it, and the inning is over. It is 8-6 Texas. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Well, here in Arlington, it is an 8-6 lead for the Rangers, the last game of the homestand. Rangers jumping out 7-0, and now trying to hang on, maybe add to the lead in the bottom of the 8th. Check your Gatorade game summary. Paul Bird's shortest outing of the year. He had come in at 8-2. 4 home runs in this game. Hasselman and A-Rod for the Rangers. Randa and Fables for Kansas City. Kansas City's gone through 3 pitchers. Brad Voiles out there right now. Ball one inside to Mike Lamb. Rangers out hitting the Royals 10-6. I tell you what, Tag, for a game that's featured 14 runs, 16 hits, bunch of walks, there's only been 7 men left on base in this game.
The game's moved along pretty good, really.
Mike Lamb serving one into right center. Beltran's got it, one down. And folks, we invite you to go to TexasRangers.com, the ultimate baseball website. You can listen to game day audio, watch highlights direct, play home team challenge, and a lot more. You'll find it exclusively at TexasRangers.com. Bill Hasselman, kind of an all-or-nothing day today. A home run, but he also hit into a double play with runners at first and third back in the 5th.
So Voiles has a fastball, 91, 93 miles an hour, good overhand curveball, and a good changeup. He's got a good assortment of pitches.
Hasselman looping that one down the left field line. Everybody's running. It falls untouched in foul ground. Been waiting all day down there, getting nice and tan. Now the foul ball. With an 8-6 lead, there is Hideki Arabu getting ready in the bullpen. He's the closer. Was asked to go for a second inning of work on Friday night. That did not go well. But if the Rangers hang on today, that's 2 out of 3 in this series. And a spring in their step heading to Anaheim. Three and 2 the count to Hasselman. Again, the Rangers hope to have Pudge Rodriguez back by the time they get back from Anaheim. Hopefully Frank Catalanato too. There's a change. And Hasselman is out, 2 down. Also from Anaheim, don't forget, the Rangers will be involved in this year's free agent draft. And if you want to shoot us an email on the topic, if you think the Rangers If you think you have an idea on what the Rangers should do with that number 10 overall pick, FoxSports.com, keywords Rangers booth. And Tom and I can get into that a little bit on Monday, tomorrow. A lot of intrigue always when you're down to, what, 48 hours away from the draft. Who's it going to be? Romano slapping one over to short. Back on the grass, Perez. And Romano is safely across with a head-first slide.
Perez backed up on that chopper, and once he backed up, he didn't have a chance to get Romano. He's got a nice, strong arm. But from the position he was in, 4 or 5 feet out in left field on his heels, he doesn't have enough arm strength to make this throw. He tries to wing it over there, but Romano would have been safe anyway. That's one of those choppers that once he made the decision to stay back on it, he pretty much sealed his fate. He needed to be coming in on that ball to get Romano.
That'll be an infield single, the second hit of the game for Jason Romano. He's got 3 in the series, his first 3 big league hits. That'll be it. Romano foils. Thank you. And the new pitcher for the Royals, Jason Grimsley. We'll tell you about him in just a moment. To 6 Texas, and the Rangers looking for more. They'll do it against Jason Grimsley just into the game as a 4th Kansas City pitcher. Check your Ford leaderboard. And congratulations, Frisco, softball 4A champions. And in the baseball, South Lake Carroll, the Dragons get it done. Highland Park moving along. This is a fun time of year, isn't it? You got the College World Series shaping up. You got the UIL state playoffs. And you got the Rangers hopefully hitting their stride. Jason Grimsley, as we mentioned, into the game. The 23rd time he's been in a game this year. And Grimsley, a guy that I know, Tom, impressed you very much when he threw against the Rangers in Kansas City. Has good stuff.
He does. He's got a power sinker. That's the only way to label it. 94 miles an hour, sometimes higher. Great movement on it. I don't know that you see a sinker with that velocity and that much movement very often. Definitely the kind of guy to come in and get a ground ball.
Rusty 2 for 10 lifetime against him. Romano chased back to first. Jason already with his first big league steal today.
Josh, while you were gone, Jim Knox interviewed Jason's mom, who let us in on a little tidbit that no one knew. When he was in high school, he turned down the Nolan Ryan scholarship to Alvin Junior College. Nolan actually called him on the phone and asked him if he would like to take part in that. Jason said no, he wanted to turn pro.
I bet he said no, sir, though.
I bet he did, too. He also said Nolan gave him a lot of good advice as they went through all his options.
Now, the more that you watch Romano, you really begin to just flat out root for him, you know? I mean, he's got a great attitude. Kind of knows his way around already. There he goes, and the 0-2 is down and in. Jason Romano ahead for his slide, 2 stolen bases and 2 hits.
He had a big jump that time. There was nothing the catcher could do. He stole that base on Jason Grimsley. You see him taking off. And a good lead, a good jump, and a quick start.
Romano once had a 40 stolen base season in the minors. Remember, he's still 22 years old. Rusty takes just outside. Jason obviously hoping that when his birthday comes around, June 24th, that he is still a Texas Ranger and not back down in Oklahoma.
He's definitely got some value to a ball club. I mean, you'd like to see a kid 22 years old playing every day. But if he's in the big leagues, even when he's not playing in every day, he's got a lot of versatility. He's got speed. You can pinch run with him. You can use him in the outfield. You can use him in the infield at second base. So he does have some value. And even though some guys are going to be coming off the disabled list, it's not necessarily a foregone conclusion that he has to go back to AAA. It may be the likely scenario. On the other hand, he does have some value. There's some things he can do to help you win.
We mentioned Chris Magruder, the former Ranger, and his situation in Cleveland. He's, again, similar situation. Supposed to be going back when guys come off the DL, but he's doing everything right, so maybe it's not a slam dunk. Magruder, another home run today. Romano would love to be here when the Reds are in town next week. I guarantee you that. He was a big-time Reds fan growing up. Remember, they trained near Tampa. That's right where he grew up. Look at this. A pitch, and Greer swings, belts it to left. We're trying the old Johnny Bench just as we're talking about the Cincinnati Reds. They faked like it was going to be ball 4 intentional. But then they threw it over the plate. Rusty was ready. That was something. Still 8-6. We head to the 9th. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Net has been brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. And by your Texas Dodge dealers. Get somewhere. Grab life by the horns. Well, 30 years ago, 1972 World Series, Raleigh Fingers tricked Johnny Bench into striking out. Raleigh Fingers indicating on a 3-2 count he wanted to go ahead, intentionally throw ball 4 outside. So the catcher set up as though he was going to catch an intentional wide one. Then Bench watched in horror. His Fingers instead dealt strike 3 right down the middle. Watch what happened here. 3-2.
Catcher's indicating he wants ball 4, and he jumps back in. Grimsley throws a strike, and Rusty almost doubled into the gap. Normally you save that play when you've got a lead. You don't see that play very often to begin with, but rather unusual to see it in when you've got a 2-run deficit.
Here is the closer, Hideki Irabu. He's 2-0 on Luis Alicea, trying to protect an 8-6 lead.
The one thing Hideki has not done his last couple of times out against Kansas City is locate his fastball. That's a little bit better. He's thrown some belt-high fastballs, and boy, they have teed off on him. Randa beat him with a 2-run homer in Kansas City. We had the 3 home runs the other night, and most of them have been belt-high pitches, fastballs right down the middle of the plate and up.
New defensive look as well with Irabu out there. Calvin Murray comes into the game to play center. Jason Romano plays his 3rd position of the game. He's now in left. What's a tough room. Rusty Greer makes 2 spectacular diving catches today and is now removed from the game. We've seen Romano go get it today, though, too, in center. 3-2 to Alicea. He walked him, and the tying man is coming up.
Well, the one thing we saw in the game in Kansas City, a couple of walks at the bottom of the lineup allowed the lineup to turn over, and that's what allowed Beltran, Sweeney, and Randa to hit in that ball game. You hate to see the same thing happen today. You've got the 7, 8, and 9 hitters coming up, and then Perez and Fabulous. They like to get it done before it gets to Beltran, Sweeney, and Randa, especially if you're Hideki Irabu and you've been treated the way they've treated you the last couple of times you've pitched.
Yeah, Beltran, Sweeney, Randa. A week ago on Sunday in Kansas City, it went single home run to beat Irabu. And then Friday night, they went home run, home run, home run. Those 3 guys again to beat Irabu. There's a strike. 0-2 the count to Ibanez, and you're right, Tom. Something would have to go cataclysmically wrong here for it to cycle back to Beltran, Sweeney, Randa in the 9th.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to see it.
That's 4 batters away. Down too low, 1-2.
Well, those guys are real good hitters. They can hit a home run off a lot of different pitchers. But in this particular case, they didn't see Arabu's best pitches. They saw fastballs belt high and out over the plate. Arabu just was not making the pitches that he made during his great stretch, where he didn't give up any runs and saved 9 or 10 straight ball games. Those guys are good hitters. You make a mistake to them, they'll make you pay for it. Beltran on the left, Sweeney on the right.
Little flare towards left, and Romano cutting over. Jason makes the catch. One down, 9th inning. Brent Maine the next to come up. As long as we're talking about freaky things at the plate, how about Brent Maine a couple of years ago with the bases loaded? Buck Showalter was managing the Diamondbacks, and with the bases loaded, they walked. Was it Barry Bonds to get to him? 4, 6, 3. There you go. Ball game. No uprising this time. A quick and easy double play. The Rangers survive against Kansas City. They take 2 out of 3. Today's final is 8-6. And Chan-Ho Park does get the win. Alex Rodriguez hit a home run number 18. The double play ball seals the deal. Arabu gets the save, and we'll be back to wrap it up right after this on Fox Sports Net. The Rangers zipped out today. They scored 5 in the first. They added 2 more in the fourth. All of a sudden it got close. It was down to 7-5 and ultimately 8-6. But Hideki Arabu gets a double play to end the game, gets his 12th save, and the Rangers able to take 2 out of 3 against Kansas City. They beat Kansas City's best, Paul Byrd. Again, the final 8-6. Will be right back to Arlington after this. Nice way to end the homestand. The Rangers, in front of a crowd of close to 27,000 today, beat back Kansas City 8-6. Now it's off on the road. It's 4 with Anaheim. The Angels were a 5-4 winner today at Minnesota. It's now a race to see who can get to Anaheim first. For Tom Grieve, Jim Knox, and our entire crew, this is Josh Lewin saying good afternoon from Arlington. Again, your final today, Texas 8, Kansas City 6. Our next Fox Sportsnet telecast comes your way tomorrow at 9. The Rangers meeting those red-hot Angels in Anaheim. Pre-game coverage beginning at 8:30. Don't forget to join us tonight at 10 for the Southwest Sports Report. You've been watching coverage of Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Net. Again, your final, Rangers 8 and the Royals 6.